Chosen one. What happens when an earth angel realizes they've been operating with divine restraint this entire time, keeping their true nature hidden, even from themselves? You're about to discover that the humility you've worn, like armor, has been masking something so powerful that even cosmic forces pause when you finally decide to stop playing small. The rabbit holes ahead aren't just deep. They're dimensional portals that will shatter every assumption you've made about reality, your purpose, and the terrifying beauty of what you actually are. Something's wrong with the world around you, and deep down you've always known it. The birds are singing at 3 in the morning when silence should reign, while the darkness carries sounds that belong to daylight hours. It's as if reality itself has been flipped upside down, and you're the only one who notices the cosmic joke being played on humanity. This isn't coincidence. This is your first clue that the last shall be first, and the first shall be last in ways that would terrify ordinary minds. Every act of abandonment was actually an initiation. Every moment they withdrew their love, your ancestors stepped closer. Every time human support failed you, divine intervention strengthened. The cruelest irony is that your family's rejection became the catalyst for cosmic adoption. You were never meant to be raised by humans alone. You needed the guidance of beings who remembered what you came here to do. The poverty that marked your childhood wasn't punishment. It was preparation disguised as suffering. Every night you went to bed hungry. Reality was teaching you to feast on frequencies others couldn't even perceive. Every time you wore clothes that didn't fit, the universe was showing you that nothing in this dimension was designed for someone of your magnitude. Every moment you felt the sting of lack. You were developing immunity to material attachment that would later become spiritual freedom. But the most crucial element was being carved in those early years of struggle. Unshakable inner authority. When external validation is systematically withheld, you're forced to develop internal validation so powerful it becomes radiating confidence. When human approval is absent, you learn to seek approval from sources beyond the veil. When earthly comfort is denied, you discover how to access celestial comfort that surpasses all understanding. The spiritual attacks began before you even recognized them as such. What you initially dismissed as bad luck was actually coordinated assault from those who sensed your power before you even recognized it yourself. Spells cast in your direction by people who called themselves light workers, but carried shadows in their hearts. Dark magic sent your way by individuals whose own spiritual bankruptcy made them desperate to drain power from authentic sources. They targeted you with rituals performed under full moons, whispered your name into candle flames, and sent energetic daggers toward your dreams. You're not just resistant to their attacks. You're a walking antidote to their poison. Every hex sent your way became fuel for your fire. Every curse became a blessing in reverse. Every attempt to drag you down only revealed how high you're naturally designed to soar. The ancestors took notice of this systematic targeting and responded with supernatural intervention. Not just your recent bloodline, but the ancient ones, those who walked between worlds before the veil became thick with human forgetfulness. They appointed themselves as your divine security detail, creating protective barriers around you that remain invisible to human perception, but completely tangible to anyone operating in spiritual realms. This ancestral protection explains why your enemies now whisper warnings about you to anyone foolish enough to listen. This is why those who came against you with confidence now live in regret so profound it haunts their sleep. This is why people who attempted to dim your light now fear even speaking your name. The universe sent a clear message. Touch this one and face consequences that extend beyond this lifetime. Your perception started shifting in ways that would alarm ordinary consciousness. The world that others accept as reality began looking like a poorly constructed movie set to your awakened eyes. You noticed inconsistencies everywhere, plot holes in official narratives, contradictions in established histories, and inversions so blatant they seem designed to test human gullibility rather than inform human understanding. When they tell you humans walked on the moon in 1969 with technology less sophisticated than what's in a modern calculator, something in your spirit recognizes the absurdity immediately. When they claim to have lost the technology to return to a place they visited multiple times, your inner knowing laughs at the audacity of such transparent deception. When they announce plans to go back using equipment they're just now developing, you realize you're witnessing the unveiling of a lie so massive it requires global participation to maintain. This isn't paranoid thinking. This is pattern recognition operating at divine levels. Your consciousness has been upgraded to perceive deception. Regardless of how elaborate its packaging, you can sense when truth has been inverted and presented as fiction, while fiction has been packaged as incontrovertible fact. The rabbit holes call to you because you're meant to be a truth excavator, a cosmic detective investigating the crime scene of human consciousness. Every question you ask creates cracks in the foundation of accepted reality. Every inconsistency you point out weakens the structure of mass hypnosis. Every truth you uncover becomes a beacon for others, stumbling through the darkness of collective amnesia. You're not just awakening to your own power. You're becoming a walking awakening frequency for anyone ready to remember what they've forgotten. The dreams intensified as your mission clarified. Not ordinary dreams, but experiences so vivid they make waking life seem pale by comparison. You've learned to navigate these inner landscapes with the skill of an interdimensional pilot, moving through realms that most people only glimpse during moments of deep meditation or psychedelic exploration. In these elevated states, you've encountered versions of yourself that exist across multiple realities, each one confirming what your heart has always known. This incarnation carries special significance. You've received downloads of information that bypass normal learning mechanisms, arriving fully formed in your consciousness, like software updates from cosmic headquarters. You've been shown glimpses of what's coming, both the challenges and the victories. And your soul has been calibrated to handle frequencies that would overwhelm unprepared vessels. Your energy centers have become precision instruments, each one tuned to frequencies that bypass normal human limitations. While others struggle to maintain basic emotional equilibrium, you've developed the ability to keep all systems operational simultaneously, creating an energetic signature that's both deeply grounding and impossibly expansive. This explains why spiritual attacks slide off you like water off weatherproofing. This is why your inner peace remains unshakable even when chaos erupts around you. But the most profound realization has been understanding the true nature of your identity. The human form you inhabit is not your natural state. It's a temporary vehicle designed to allow divine consciousness to operate within physical limitations. You're not learning to be spiritual. You're remembering how to be human without forgetting your celestial origins. Every ability you develop, every truth you uncover, every person you help awaken is actually a return to your original programming. The loneliness you endured wasn't abandonment. It was preparation for leadership that requires absolute inner authority. You had to learn to stand alone so you could teach others how to access their own power rather than depending on external validation. You had to navigate darkness without guidance so you could become a lighthouse for others lost in similar storms. Every moment of isolation was building your capacity to hold space for collective transformation without losing yourself in the process. Your psychic abilities emerged not as supernatural gifts, but as natural functions finally coming online. The ability to sense deception before it fully manifests. The capacity to read energetic signatures of people before they reveal their true intentions. The skill to detect spiritual predators disguised as healers, energy vampires masquerading as teachers, and false prophets wearing the costumes of authentic guides. This refined discernment explains why you've become immune to manipulation tactics that snare others. You can engage with the world without being contaminated by its dysfunction. You can offer assistance without becoming imshed in drama. You can love without losing yourself. You can participate without being consumed. The matrix of deception that keeps humanity locked in spiritual prison has no power over you now because you've learned to see its operating system. The programs designed to trigger fear responses in normal consciousness simply don't compute in your upgraded awareness. The frequency fences erected to keep humans contained can't hold something that remembers how to fly. Every person you encounter now faces a choice, though most aren't conscious of it. Rise to match your frequency or retreat to comfortable unconsciousness. Your very presence becomes a sorting mechanism, separating those ready for truth from those still committed to familiar illusions. This isn't judgment. It's the transformation accelerating through your being signals something far greater than personal evolution. You're becoming a bridge between what humanity has been and what it's destined to become. Every limitation you transcend expands the realm of possibility for collective human potential. Every truth you embody becomes available for others to access. Every fear you alchemize into love creates space for others to release their own terror. The spiritual warfare that once felt overwhelming now feels like your natural element. Not because you've become hardened, but because you've learned to transform conflict into evolution. You recognize that every attack carries the seeds of your next level of mastery. Every challenge becomes fuel for deeper awakening. Every obstacle reveals itself as a hidden doorway to greater power. Your energy field has become so refined that lower vibrational entities can't maintain proximity to you. Dark magic rebounds back to its source with compound interest. Psychic attacks become boomerangs that carry consequences the original senders never anticipated. You've become a walking disruption to anything that operates through deception, manipulation, or parasitic energy exchange. The ancient prophecies spoke of ones like you, beings who would incarnate during the final phase of Anaj to midwife humanity through its most crucial transformation. You're not here to save anyone because salvation implies victimhood. You're here to remind people of their inherent power because empowerment recognizes divinity. You're not fighting darkness. You're demonstrating what light looks like when it stops apologizing for its brilliance. The conspiracy revelations that once disturbed your peace now serve as confirmation of your purpose. Every lie exposed validates your mission. Every deception unveiled proves your perception. Every hidden truth brought into the light demonstrates why beings like you were stationed here during this particular cosmic moment. The moon landing fabrication isn't just about space exploration. It's about psychological programming designed to make humans feel small and isolated in a vast, hostile universe. The technology inconsistencies aren't just about rockets and spacecraft. They're about maintaining artificial limitations on human consciousness. The narrative contradictions aren't just about historical accuracy. They're about testing how much absurdity a population will accept without questioning. But you see through it all now. The elaborate theater designed to keep humanity focused on survival instead of sovereignty. The engineered scarcity that makes abundance seem impossible. The manufactured division that prevents unity. The systematic suppression of human potential disguised as protection and progress. Your role isn't to convince anyone of these truths. Truth doesn't require belief to remain true. Your role is to embody the alternative so completely that others remember they have choices they didn't know existed. You're here to be so authentically powerful that permission becomes irrelevant. You're here to demonstrate that divine authority doesn't require human approval. But let's not sugarcoat it. The truth is still hidden. It's been twisted. It's been buried under censorship, algorithms, and fear. Yet your heart never stopped recognizing what's real. That's why you're still here. That's why you never tapped out. Because you felt the simulation glitch beneath your feet. You know this world is rigged, and you're done waiting for permission to arise. The obsidian inner order wasn't built for the curious. It was forged for the committed. This is for the full-time chosen. The ones who came to lead, the ones who see beyond the veil and act anyway. Inside, we hold weekly Zoom calls that cut through the noise. We share hidden teachings most were never meant to hear. We train in psychic warfare, strategy, and spiritual technologies they've kept locked away for centuries. This is the toolkit for the real ones, the ungovernable, the impossible to erase. It's time to remember who you are. The link is in the description. Your real life begins inside. The final phase of your awakening involves integrating all these revelations into a coherent understanding of your mission. The family betrayal becomes preparation for cosmic adoption. Poverty becomes training for spiritual wealth. The attacks become opportunities for power development. Loneliness becomes capacity for collective leadership. The darkness becomes fuel for unstoppable light. The birds that sang at midnight when your journey began now reveal their true message. They were announcing the arrival of something that operates beyond normal time. The silence that fell during daylight hours was the universe creating space for your emergence. The inverted reality that once confused you now makes perfect sense. You came here to help flip everything back to its divine order. The last are indeed becoming first, just as the cosmic joke suggested. Those who were rejected by human systems are being embraced by divine intelligence. Those who seemed cursed are revealing themselves as blessed. Those who appeared broken are demonstrating unbreakable wholeness. The inversion is completing, and you're no longer confused by the process. You've become the catalyst that transforms everything it touches. Your story continues expanding because infinite consciousness can't be contained in finite form. This is what happens when chosen ones stop hiding their true nature and start expressing their authentic power. This is what happens when earth angels remember why they volunteered for such a challenging assignment. This is what happens when divine beings stop pretending to be merely human. The acceleration phase begins now, and with it comes abilities that defy conventional understanding. Your energy field has become so coherent that it acts as a tuning fork for others, causing spontaneous awakenings in people who simply share space with you. Walk through a crowd and watch how sensitive individuals suddenly feel compelled to question everything they thought they knew. Sit in a cafe and observe how conversations shift toward deeper meaning without your conscious intervention. Enter any environment and witness how the collective frequency begins rising to match your own. This isn't metaphysical theory. This is measurable reality. Your presence creates ripples in the fabric of consciousness that extend far beyond your physical location. People you've never met report dreams about someone who looks exactly like you, delivering messages that transform their entire life trajectory. Individuals you briefly encountered months ago suddenly reach out to tell you how that momentary interaction sparked their spiritual awakening. The reach of your influence operates through mechanisms that modern science hasn't yet learned to detect. The ancient knowledge flowing through you carries practical applications that bridge mystical wisdom with everyday transformation. You've discovered how to navigate dream states with the precision of a skilled pilot, moving through dimensional layers that most consider pure fantasy. These nocturnal journeys aren't escapism. They're reconnaissance missions, gathering intelligence about the collective healing process and your role in facilitating it. During these expanded states of consciousness, you encounter guides who've been waiting lifetimes for someone with your particular combination of gifts and mission. They download information directly into your awareness, bypassing the limitations of linear learning. Complex spiritual technologies become instantly accessible. Advanced healing modalities activate within your energy system without requiring years of traditional training. Universal laws reveal their practical applications through direct experience rather than intellectual study. The most profound downloads concern humanity's true history and the systematic suppression of human potential. You learn how indigenous wisdom was deliberately severed from mainstream consciousness, how ancient technologies were buried or destroyed, how spiritual practices were corrupted or criminalized. The scope of the deception becomes clear. Nearly everything humans believe about their origins, capabilities, and destiny represents carefully crafted fiction designed to maintain artificial limitations. But understanding the depth of deception doesn't create despair. It ignites unstoppable determination. Every lie exposed becomes fuel for truth-telling. Every hidden capability revealed strengthens your commitment to helping others remember their own suppressed abilities. Every manipulation tactic understood makes you more effective at helping people recognize when they're being programmed versus when they're being liberated. Your discernment has evolved beyond simple intuition into precise spiritual radar that detects deception regardless of its sophistication. False teachers reveal themselves through micro-expressions that betray their true intentions. Energy vampires expose their nature through breathing patterns that attempt to sync with yours inappropriately. Spiritual predators unmask themselves through eye movements that seek vulnerability rather than connection. The implications are staggering. You've become a walking lie detector whose accuracy surpasses any technological device. More importantly, you've developed the ability to transform deception into education by showing others how to develop similar discernment. Your presence alone teaches people how to distinguish between authentic spiritual guidance and sophisticated manipulation. The loneliness that marked your early journey now reveals its true purpose as capacity building for the collective work ahead. Those years of navigating challenges without support developed unshakable inner authority that now serves as an anchor point for others. To maintain equilibrium during chaos provides stability that others can orient around when their own world turns upside down. Every betrayal you survived became training for helping others heal from similar wounds. Every manipulation you escaped became wisdom for identifying predatory patterns before they fully manifest. Every dark night of the soul you endured became medicine for those facing their own confrontation with shadow. Your personal healing journey becomes a roadmap that others can follow toward their own liberation. The energy healing abilities flowing through you operate through principles that transcend traditional modalities. Your presence alone recalibrates dysfunctional energy patterns in others without requiring conscious intention on your part. Physical ailments often resolve spontaneously around you as people's bodies remember their natural healing frequencies. Emotional traumas released through proximity to your energy field as individuals feel safe enough to let go of protective mechanisms that no longer serve them. These healing phenomena aren't about you possessing special powers. They're about you embodying frequencies that remind others of their own innate wholeness. Your energy field serves as a template that shows people what optimal functioning looks like. Your nervous system demonstrates how to remain calm during intensity. Your emotional body models how to feel deeply without being overwhelmed. Your mental clarity shows how to think independently without falling into paranoia or cynicism. The technological suppression you've uncovered reveals itself as just one layer of a much larger control system designed to keep humanity functioning below its natural capacity. Medical systems that treat symptoms while ignoring root causes. Educational structures that reward compliance while punishing creativity. Economic models that create artificial scarcity in a universe of infinite abundance. Political frameworks that promote division while suppressing unity consciousness. Understanding thesis systems doesn't create victimhood. It generates empowerment through awareness. You see how each limitation serves a purpose in the larger design of human awakening. Every restriction creates pressure that eventually explodes into expansion. Every suppression generates the eventual emergence of what was hidden. Every attempt to control consciousness ultimately strengthens the determination to be free. Your role in this cosmic drama isn't to fight against these systems, but to embody the alternative so completely that others remember they have choices they didn't know existed. You demonstrate that divine authority doesn't require human permission. You show that authentic power operates through service rather than domination. You prove that true leadership inspires others to access their own gifts rather than creating dependency on external guidance. The earth itself responds to your presence in ways that would mystify conventional understanding. Plants thrive in your vicinity as if responding to some invisible nourishment. Animals approach you with unusual trust, recognizing something in your energy that feels like coming home. Weather patterns sometimes shift around you in ways that coincidence can't explain. The natural world recognizes you as an ally in the restoration of balance between human consciousness and planetary wisdom. These phenomena point toward abilities that ancient cultures considered normal, but modern civilization has forgotten. The capacity to communicate across species barriers, the ability to influence weather patterns through consciousness alignment, the skill of reading environmental energy to predict changes before they manifest physically. Your presence is awakening dormant human capabilities that were never lost, only temporarily suppressed. The collective awakening process accelerates as more individuals like you remember their true nature and begin operating from authentic power. Each person who breaks free from limiting programming makes it easier for others to follow. Each individual who develops spiritual discernment contributes to collective wisdom that becomes available to anyone ready to access it. Each being who heals their personal wounds adds to the morphic field of healing that supports planetary transformation. You're part of a cosmic deployment that operates according to divine timing rather than human urgency. Beings like you have been strategically positioned around the planet, each carrying specific gifts needed for the transition ahead. Some excel at truth-telling, others at energy healing, still others at reality bridging. Your particular combination of abilities serves the collective in ways that may not become fully apparent until the larger pattern completes itself. The increasing intensity of spiritual attacks against you signals that your influence is expanding beyond what opposing forces can comfortably tolerate. Every attempt to diminish your light only demonstrates how brightly you've learned to shine. Every effort to discourage your mission only confirms how essential your work has become. Every attack that fails to achieve its intended effect only strengthens your understanding of the protection that surrounds authentic service. The protection operating around you extends beyond ancestral guardianship into cosmic intelligence that recognizes your mission as essential to the larger plan. Forces beyond human comprehension have invested in your success because your individual awakening serves the collective evolution of consciousness itself. This isn't favoritism. It's strategic deployment of resources toward maximum beneficial impact. Your childhood wounds transform into wisdom that serves not just your own healing, but the healing of collective trauma patterns. The abandonment you experienced becomes understanding of how humanity has been abandoned by its own potential. The betrayal you survived becomes insight into how truth has been betrayed by those claiming to serve it. The poverty you endured becomes appreciation for the spiritual wealth that no external circumstance can diminish. These transmutations of personal pain into collective medicine demonstrate the alchemical nature of your consciousness. Nothing is wasted in the divine economy. Every experience serves the larger purpose, even when that purpose remains hidden during the actual experience. Your willingness to find meaning in meaningless suffering transforms that suffering into sacred service. The increasing synchronicities surrounding your daily life signal the acceleration of the mission phase where your personal awakening begins serving collective transformation. Numbers repeat in patterns that carry messages about timing and direction. People appear precisely when you need specific information or support. Opportunities manifest exactly when you're ready to handle new levels of responsibility and influence. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations that you're operating in alignment with cosmic intelligence that orchestrates events according to principles beyond human understanding. Your life becomes a demonstration of what happens when individual will align with divine will. Your choices demonstrate how free will can serve destiny rather than opposing it. The final integration involves recognizing that you've never been separate from the cosmic intelligence you've been learning to serve. Your individual consciousness is a unique expression of universal consciousness experiencing itself through your particular combination of gifts and challenges. Your personal journey is simultaneously the universal journey of awakening happening through your specific perspective. This recognition dissolves any remaining sense of burden around your mission. You're not carrying the weight of planetary transformation alone. You're participating in a cosmic process that's guaranteed to succeed because it's powered by the same intelligence that maintains the orbit of planets and the rhythm of seasons. Your role is essential, but the outcome doesn't depend entirely on your individual performance. The birds that sang at midnight when this journey began now reveal themselves as heralds of a new dawn that operates according to cosmic timing rather than earthly schedules. The silence that fell during daylight hours was indeed the universe creating space for emergence. Not just your emergence, but the emergence of a new phase of human consciousness that you've been preparing to midwife into existence. The inversion you noticed in those early days of awakening wasn't chaos. It was the beginning of the great reversal, where what seemed powerful reveals its weakness. What appeared weak demonstrates unshakable strength, and what looked impossible proves to be inevitable. The last are indeed becoming first, and you're both witness to and participant in this cosmic course correction. Your story continues expanding because infinite consciousness can never be contained in finite form. And your mission serves purposes that extend far beyond this single lifetime or this particular planet. You've remembered who you are, accepted what you came here to do, and begun the work that will ripple through dimensions and eons in ways that surpass current imagination. The world has been waiting for you to remember who you are. Now that you have, everything becomes possible. Now that you've accepted your mission, the real work begins. Now that you understand your purpose, the transformation accelerates beyond anything you imagined. When those midnight birds first sang their cosmic announcement, "Welcome to your true beginning, chosen one. Welcome to the mission you've been preparing for across lifetimes. Welcome to the moment when everything changes because you finally remembered who you've always